Welcome back to the Stadium of Light. Delighted to discuss this evening's football match. Sunderland 3, Rotherham United 0. A brilliant second half, Danny Collins, from Sunderland.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. I think we just said it there on comms that sometimes we take a little bit to get going into a second half, and arguably we've had that period even Saturday, maybe 10-15 minutes where we're not quite at it. But tonight, say 46 minutes onwards, fantastic, weren't we? Right on the front foot again, as if half-time hadn't happened really. And then Rotherham just couldn't get into the game, smothered them into their half, got the goals. Jack Clark, fantastic down this left-hand side, and there's the big man helping himself in the middle.
Yeah, he's adapted well, hasn't he, to life in the Championship.
Yeah.
Never played at this level before, has he, Ross Stewart? Well, Jack Clark has, but arguably, he didn't have the best of times, did he? And he's, both those players we just mentioned, looking very accomplished at this level tonight.
Yeah, well, obviously not just them two as well. I've just said it there. You'd look at Jack Clark for man of the match, but you look all around the pitch. You look at it, 8s, 9s out of 10s for a lot of the boys out there, even the boys at the back who didn't have to do too much defending, but when they did, say Danny Bart, a couple of excellent blocks, Luke O'Nien, Sirkin, all played their part in it as well, and they earned that clean sheet. And then you're moving through the pitch there, and we've said it, and I keep saying it, that doesn't matter who we're up against at this level. And yes, we have got some boys in the team who are fresh to coming into Championship football, but I fancy us when they're on it, like they were tonight. Pritchard, the two up the top, either side, Linden Gooch up and down that right-hand side. We're going to cause problems for any team at this level.
Let's start the post-game programme by looking at the highlights from tonight's game. And Danny, we can discuss some of those points of which you've just been speaking about. Chances in the first half, a bit like that really. Sunderland kept at bay despite asking a few questions of Rotherham. Very much the side on top, but not able to exploit those lines. Rotherham coming and setting people back behind the ball. A bit of a different Rotherham side to what we saw last season.
Yeah, almost didn't lay. They have a lot of niggly bookings, didn't they? But didn't really lay a glove on us. You give credit to our lads. We looked sharper all over the pitch, almost not fitter than them. And we talked about Paul Warren sets his stall out on his teams being fit, but they almost couldn't live with us at times, and we just looked sharper all over the pitch. But not just on the ball, it was the ugly side of the game, what we've done really well this evening. Those loose balls we seem to pick up more than what they did. That's one from Danny Bart there, just reading the situation. He made a couple of other good blocks as well.
There was a couple of times where Danny Bart and Luke O'Nien in particular at the back were called upon and just dealt with things, didn't they?
Yeah, Luke's not the biggest, but he's got a good leap, and he's robust. And was it first minute on the clock, wasn't it? He got clattered going in for a header, but he puts himself, in there. He made a great crunching challenge over the far side as well. And then at the other end of the pitch, what I liked it as well, not just, trying to play through Rotherham all the time. We've got it where you've got willing strikers who want to run channels and drag centre-halves about. And as well now with a lot of teams wanting to play three at the back, if you've got your two strikers pulling in between those centre-halves, we've seen it down at Stoke for Ross's goal. Stoke didn't enjoy it down there, and similar tonight. You've got a couple of aging defenders there. Woodsy wouldn't mind me saying that. He's 37, Peltier's 35, and they're getting dragged about, and you don't want that as a centre-half when you're in a back three. So we can mix it up. We've got balls coming in from both sides. Look at Linden again there now, just breezing past Ferguson, puts him on the ground. That one there, he's unlucky. Ross, obviously he got a couple there. Could have been the first one leading into a hat-trick. Good defending from Harding though. Gets back on the line, helps his keeper out. But just in that first half, that's all it was missing, wasn't it? Yeah, at times we had some excellent play. Rotherham had one or two half chances. Give them some credit. And Anthony Patterson was called into action, which we'll see in a minute. This one, from Rathbone, just warms his gloves up, that one, doesn't it, really? He's got it covered, and it's comfortable from, 20, 25 yards out. But there's one in a minute, what we'll see from Wiles, which was a really good save. But I just think at the other end of the pitch, when those front 4 or 5 for me are firing, that's the one there from Patterson, isn't it? Down low.
Gets down really well.
You see it back, because he catches it quite well. It was that little nick there, just takes it away from Danny Bart, who's sprung to come and win it. And it comes to him, he's off there, he's peeling off, thinks he's scored, doesn't he? But he's down well, Pato, big lad. And that's what you need from your keeper. When things, and we said it towards the end of last season as well, there was one or two where there wasn't a lot going on at his end of the pitch, but he's just got to be switched on. And he's alert there, and he's down well to make the save. This one here into Pritchard, isn't it? It comes back to Ross, a little bit awkward for him. It's a little bit, he's just too close to Pritchard, really, I think, more than anything. And it's just behind him on his weaker left foot. And he can't keep that one down on target, just trying to pass it into that far corner, wasn't he? But just look at the link-up play there. You've got Linden driving across the pitch. You've got your number 10 coming across the pitch as well.
That's right, the creative
and it just messes the back four around. Yeah, and I'm sure they've got that license, you know, from pre-season and building into it where, you know, that's what you want. You've got your strikers, one will drop in, one's got to run in behind, and you've got to mess the back four around, or back three, back five as it was on this, you know, tonight for Rotherham more often than not, because they couldn't get out of their half. You see Norton Cuffy, he had a difficult evening. You can see when he's going forward, he looks like he's got a bit of pace, but when he was asked to defend it, he didn't enjoy it too much.
Right, this is getting into the second half now, and look at that.
You're waiting for the net to ripple there, aren't you? Danny Bart, lovely ball in from Alex Pritchard. Got Lurpak on it, that cross. Danny Bart gets a free header, really. He'll be disappointed, Danny. You know, keeper's well beat.
Hit the post, in fact,
off the outside of the post,
at the time.
And then there's Jack, just drifting in there, passing that one across. Behind Ross, excellent finish again on his weaker left foot.
Falling as well.
Falling, coming away from goal, but he gets good power on it, and it's through the keepers, go through his legs, does it, or just to his side?
Just to his right hand side,
yeah,
I think.
But it's a lovely, and that's what you want from Jack. And a lot of time there's, you know, a few fans criticised Jack last season. He wanted to come back on that right foot too often, but you see tonight 3 or 4 times he goes on it, and once he does, you're almost just got to pass it on your weaker foot, and that's all he's had to do there. And there he is again. This one there, it doesn't go with the left, but it's a lovely ball, isn't it? Outside of the right foot, as you said, coming away from the goalkeeper. And there's Ross coming steaming in at the back post.
If you put a ball into that corridor of uncertainty, something could happen.
Well, it's horrible, isn't it?
Someone like Ross Stewart's going to be arriving at some point.
Yeah, but you've said, look, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 Rotherham players there facing their own goal. They don't really want to get involved in it. They can't. It's past Woods before he knows it. But there's Ross coming in behind. I think it's Peltier, isn't it, at the far post. And then that was game, set and match, really, wasn't it? And you said it there, their heads went down, took the stuffing out of them. And they're playing for a little bit of pride, really. They made a few changes.
18 minutes between Sunderland's 3 goals. 18 minutes in the second half, which really slapped Rotherham all over, didn't it?
Yeah, well, it did, yeah. And there's Jack as well. He's had a couple of assists, and I said it was game over there. Well, that certainly was nail in the coffin for Rotherham. You know, Dan Barlaser, he's on a yellow. He can't really make the tackle. He's a yard behind him. But do you know what impressed me more? Yes, it's the driving run from Jack, but just the awareness and the composure, reversing it. More often than not, there where you're going across, you just side footer into that far corner. But look at that there, lovely little finish, reverses it into this bottom corner. You know, we'll get 25 views on it. You can watch it all night long, and I'm sure Jack will enjoy watching it himself. And that's the one there, Ross.
Just couldn't get on the end of that, get his hat trick.
Yeah, link-up play between them two, excellent tonight, wasn't it? And then Rotherham, they brought a few, you know, Eves come on, didn't he? Kelly, a couple of big lads up top, put a few balls into the mixer, but again, Patterson wasn't really asked too many questions of, was he?
Yeah, you said in comms as well, Sunderland shown good game management in that second half.
Yeah, that's what you've got to do. You can argue, yeah, it's easy when you're 3-0 up, and maybe in these games when you're 1-0 up and you're a little bit nervy, that's when you've got to manage the game and, you know, keep the passes going 10-20, and it just, you know, the opposition, the heads go down. You could see it there last 5 minutes. Rotherham had gone. Olays came out from the Sunderland fans. So from back to front, excellent clean sheet, goals, assists. You know, we look dangerous on both flanks. A great evening's working. Tony Mowbray, I think this is an easy job he stepped into.
Let's have a look around the other scores in the Championship this evening, if we can. There's about 5 of the games taking part tonight, 5 including our own. Bristol City 2, Huddersfield 0, Coventry 0, Preston 1. You'll be happy about that because you've been concerned about Preston.
Yeah,
0-0 so far. Stoke 1, Swansea City 1, and Blackpool 0, Blackburn 1. That's the scores around the doors this evening. I don't think we'll have the table just yet in terms of a graphic, but Sunderland climbed the table, no doubt, after that, and once again showing that they're more than competitive at this level, which will be music to the ears of Tony Mowbray, who saw his side as first-team coach this evening for the first time from the dugout.
Yeah.
Didn't really have to do much, did he?
No, he could have just stood there really and enjoyed the game. You know, just maybe once or twice as we were a little bit slack, but you know, you're nitpicking there really over the course of the 90 minutes. We were excellent and limited them to very little. But yeah, you're asking the question there, aren't you? Saying that we've come into it now. Is that 7 games on the board for us, and we look comfortable? Yeah, you know, people are questioning the depth in the squad. Obviously, we've 4 signings coming today. They're adding to the squad, so we're getting that depth there as well. You know, you've got 1 or 2 in the treatment room. Carl Winchester, Niall Huggins, 1 or 2 others maybe. But yeah, it's a lot of positive, you know, around the place from where we were maybe Friday and what's going on. But all of a sudden, you know, new manager comes in. They've done that quick, haven't they? Quick turnaround. I think it was 12 days between Lee Johnson going in and Alex Neil coming in. We've acted fast. They've brought Tony in straight away, and he's coming to the job. And as you say, lads got off to a flyer under him. 3-0 at home. Fans, 36,000 in here tonight. Great turn up for a midweek game. Can we continue it now? We've played Norwich, Sheffield United, two teams fancied to be up there, and we've held our own in those games. Sheffield, it was a hard one to gauge with Dan getting sent off, and we're playing 60 odd minutes there. But look at the character we showed down there. Linden getting the goal. We're back in it at 2-1, and then Norwich at the weekend, nothing in that game. So I think the boys will be, between themselves at the training ground as well. They'll maybe having a few words, and not saying overconfident or cocky, and there's nothing about the championship, but do you know what I mean? Just thinking, do you know what, lads, we can hold our own at this level, and we're more than a threat. We're fairly solid at the back. We're tightened up. We've had a couple of clean sheets now down at Stoke tonight.
Yeah, big one again at home as well.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So we have tightened it up at the back where we shipped a couple of goals early on, a couple of twos, but no, I think there's a lot of positives to take and to look forward to now.
Right, let's see if we can get some of your thoughts now. Hashtag Ask Danny is the tradition at this point of the post-game programme. This one's in from Andrew. It says, great performance today and bodes very well for Mowbray. From your experience, Danny, how much of a difference does a new manager make to a squad?
Yeah, I said it before the game. You asked the question about a manager coming in, and he's trying to get to know his squad. He's been to a few games, I think. He said it himself, hasn't he, where he's been around watching games. He'll have been here a few times. He'll know the players from watching them, what they're about, but it's getting to know them as a character. And then as a player as well, when a new manager comes in, you're almost trying to suss him out as well.
And if he knows football as much as everyone says he does know football, he'll know the likes of Dennis Sirkin. He was coming through at Spurs. Yeah. He'll know the likes of Patrick Roberts because he's seen him in the Championship. Jack Clark, Alex Pritchard. He'll know all about them. Yeah. And obviously, everyone knows about Ross Stewart now. Yeah.
Plus, you're getting the feedback as well. You've got, Mike Dodds there, Michael Proctor, the other guys in and around it. So we'll be having feedback with them. Staff will have meetings. What's he like? Who can you put an arm around? Who can you get into in the change rooms? Certainly the senior boys. You can, if things aren't going well, and sometimes the manager tees off at half time. Who can handle that? Because some lads can't, and they go into their shell. You've got some of the young boys here, and they're already playing in front of 36,000, expecting Sunderland fans as well. So over the next couple of weeks, he'll get to know the players, and as you say, he's experienced, got a load of games behind him as a manager, as a player, so he's been in both sides of it. But yeah, going forward, he knows now he's got a good base to work from. Might tweak one or two things different to what Alex Neil brought into the camp, and put his own stamp on things, as you said there. Does he stick with the same formation? New boys coming into it, how are they going to impress in training? You're always going to pick up injuries throughout the season.
One thing's for sure, there's no real reason to change that side at the moment.
No, that'll be it. Monday night, when I say guarantee, unless someone picks up a niggle in training or something, you almost guarantee that's going to be the starting 11 going to Middlesbrough. Certainly, if you were one of them lads and you come out of the team, you'd be a little bit gutted, wouldn't you? What's going on here?
Yeah,
we just
put in played well tonight, and on Saturday.
Of course they did, yeah. So it's sort of almost picking itself. So that's what I said there in comms, where the lads who are on the, Patrick, Elliot, these other boys who are on the outskirts at the minute, and they've got to, frustrated as a player you train all week, you want to be on the pitch. You can't at this moment in time. You've got to train well. You've got other lads come into it now, so there's competition just for the bench at this moment. That's what we want to see, though. Saying it there, the fans have been saying it in recent weeks. We need some more bodies in the building. Long season, 50-odd games. And we've already seen a couple picking up injuries and Dan suspended, etc. So it's a long term. We've got to push each other in training. The lads there who've played tonight, they'll probably, whether they're in tomorrow, those lads will get a bit of TLC, some massage in the swimming pools. The other lads will go out training. So you're getting numbers in now for a good training session for the boys who aren't in the team. And they've got to push each other on now and compete for the shirt.
Yeah, great. Then let's have a look at another of your thoughts in hashtag Ask Danny. Remember, if you want to take part in this post-game programme, just use a hashtag on social media. Our production team will pick it up, and you could be like Drums of Death, who's been in touch, who says, is Ross Stewart the best Sunderland striker since Kevin Phillips? Well, there's a couple of good strikers played when you were here.
Yeah, that's a good question. If, you're asking me at my time, look at Kenwyn, Marcus Stewart, Stevie Elliott. When we're going to miss it now, Gibril coming in, Darren Bent. Some good strikers are playing, obviously playing at the top level as well. Yeah. You mentioned it about Ross there coming in from League One. Maybe a few question marks. How's he going to get on at Championship level? I'm not sure in terms of the scoring rankings, but he's got to be up there on 5 at this moment in time. So he's taken like a duck to water, hasn't he? But nothing seems to have changed for him. I think with Ross, when he has his downtime in terms of not scoring goals, what you know you're going to get from Ross is his work rate. He puts a shift in. You know, if it's not happening, he had a spell last season, didn't he, where it wasn't happening for him in front of goal, but he puts a shift in. He makes it difficult for centre halves, and he's a proper team player. He comes back. How many balls does Ross clear? You know, for that 6-yard box. And he puts a shift in all over the pitch, and he seems to be enjoying his football as well. Yeah. But it's a difficult one. You know, you're looking at Kev. Was it late 90s? Wasn't it? A legend at the club, scoring bags of goals. Ross is into his, say, second season really as the out-and-out number 9, really, isn't he?
It's more Quinny in his stature.
Yeah,
though,
he is Quinny. He's lean, he's tall, but he's probably quicker than Quinny, isn't he? He probably works the channels more than Quinny as well. But no, you know, he's ticking a lot of boxes, isn't he? And if he keeps scoring goals, keeps putting in these performances, he'll be a legend at the club. Obviously, there's talk about his contract. That's not for us to chat about. That's for other people at the club to discuss.
The fans are chatting about it. They want him tied down, don't they?
Of course you do. Yeah, you know, he's just saying it there. He's got a couple tonight. He's off and running. He's 5. You know, we've hopefully got to tie him down. But that's between the people upstairs and Ross. And I think Ross is happy and enjoying his football here. That's not to say if he went elsewhere he wouldn't. But you know, he seems like he's at home here and he's enjoying his football. So let's hope that gets sorted out. Maybe
they just need to include a couple of iron brew sausages into the deal to get it over the line.
That'll be the key, won't it?
That would be ideal. Let's move on to another thought here on hashtag Ask Danny. This one is from Eddie, who's been in touch. He says, are you happy with our transfer dealings, or do we need to get more in 24 hours? As we understand it, the recruitment team are working hard behind the scenes, Danny.
Yeah, with just over 24 hours to go as well.
11 p.m. tomorrow night.
Well, we've seen, I don't know when that tweet came in, but whether he's seen that 4 come out at half-time.
Yeah, it even surprised our colleagues at Sky Sports who weren't prepared for that.
Yeah, one more on his list there, wasn't there? Yeah, so no, it's good to see. And I just mentioned it there. We've needed a few bodies in, of course we have, over the course of the season. You're going to need these people, these bodies coming in and keep pushing each other. But
it's exciting for fans, isn't it, transfer deadline day?
Yeah, well, of course it is, yeah. But I think... I'm not sure in terms of the age. You're looking at some of the younger boys there. Maybe they're looking at 1 or 2 other experienced lads who can come in. If you know, perhaps Corey comes out of there. Who have you got going there? An old head in the middle of the park alongside Dan or Matete, Elliott. These boys in there. You know, at the back you've got Bailey and Danny Bart, Pritchard further up. So we have got some experienced heads in there, but maybe just an older 1 or 2 to come in. I'm not on the recruitment team though.
You're not. You're on the gantry with me, unfortunately. Right, let's have a look at the next one then. These are your thoughts on hashtag Ask Danny. Table predictions with Tony Mowbray at the helm. It's a hard one, isn't it?
Threw it on the toes there. I think it's still early days. I said before, I think a lot of fans will agree, you know, we're coming back into this level. We weren't sure where we're going to be at. I would say if you take anywhere between 8th and 16th, or some fans might say we stay up this year, is that feeling negative maybe off what we've seen so far? But you never know. You know, it's been done, hasn't it? I think teams come up and they go back-to-back promotions. I'm not saying we're going to do that by any stretch, but I just think there's nothing that's fazed the lads, I don't think, and there's nothing that's scared us so far. If we're all at it, the 11 that are out there tonight and what's behind there, if they're at it, turning in performances like they did this evening, there's nothing to fear at this level. We are going to have an off day. All teams have an off day. You've seen it in the Premier League so far. You know, Liverpool, Man City. It happens, but you know, if we're at it, then we're going to cause teams problems at the top end of the pitch. And if we tighten it up like we have done in recent weeks, then we're going to be difficult to beat and we're going to be difficult to stop.
Okay, let's move on to the final one on hashtag Ask Danny this evening. Your final thought making it into the programme. Use the hashtag every single time on the gantry and, of course, back in the studio as well for away games. And we'll bring your thoughts into the post-game programme. This one from Gareth says, which of the 4 signings who came out at half-time are you most excited about seeing play and why, Danny?
Well, I haven't seen too much of them. I've seen a few clips on Michu, midfielder. Looks like he can get around the pitch. And the other boys, the young lads coming into the club now, we're saying about Michu at half-time. He's obviously trained at PSG, played a few games with some big hitters, hasn't he?
You know, the players he's been playing with, Mbappe,
Neymar,
Messi, Neymar. I mean, we're talking like
some of these other lads.
These are like match attacks for us as Sunderland fans, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, these are global superstars, and he's been in and around getting a game with them as well.
Yeah, well, he has, he's got a few appearances with them and just training every day. He's going to learn a lot from these lads, but now he's obviously coming over here. He's a young lad, so he's going to have to adapt. I'm not sure in terms of what his English is like, but we'll get to find out. And the other boys as well, young lads coming into it, you know, trying to earn their stripes really, from Manchester United and 1 or 2 other clubs, maybe they're coming to Sunderland now and they don't even realise what the size of the club is. You think, well, I'm coming to the Championship, we'll see how it goes. But coming here tonight and seeing that performance, 36,000 plus, they'll have enjoyed it. But they know that the hard work starts now for them on the training ground. They're not going to walk into the team.
They've got to impress up there, don't they, before they get anywhere near the squad.
But, say we come here tonight and we've been beat 3-0, and they'll think, do you know what, shirt's up for grabs now, but they know they've got to try and earn the shirt. They might have to take a couple of weeks, injuries, suspensions, whatever it is, but they've got to train hard, get their heads down, graft. Don't come up here thinking you're on a bit of a jolly. Got to work hard and put the shift in on the training pitch, and then take Tony Mowbray's eye and the coaching staff and try and force their way into the team.
Danny, thanks for your thoughts this evening. As ever, we will be back, I suspect, against Millwall. That will be Sunderland's game on the 10th of September. The reason for that, the Sunderland's next game, no game this weekend, remember, because they are at Middlesbrough, down at the Riverside on Monday evening. Sky are taking that game in the UK, so we won't be on the gantry or in the studio for, indeed, that one. A great night here at the Stadium of Light. The first game with Tony Mowbray in the dugout has ended. Sunderland 3, Rotherham United 0. See you next time.